Starting off the day by pulling off the upper timing cover. As you can see, the valve cover's off, and it doesn't look too healthy in here because when coolant gets mixed with your oil, it turns it all into a milkshake looking material. But all this will be cleaned out once the head's off, and it'll all start looking fresh. Front timing cover is off. Now I gotta push back the tensioner, lock that into place, take the tension off the chain, mark my cams, remember exactly where they were so I could just put it back on, don't have to worry about retiming it, and then take off the cam sprockets, take off all the cam bolts along the top. These are numbered, exhaust side, intake side, and their order. Keep those in order, keep them facing the same direction, and then the head bolts are underneath the cams. Pull off the head bolts and pull off the head. Okay, I got the tensioner pulled back and just a sewing needle in the little hole to hold it in. Keep the tension off. Got my timing marked. Do not follow my timing for a regular KA. I do got different cams in here, and my timing is -4 degrees retarded on the intake side. So do not try to look at this as timing for your regular cammed KA24DE. But now I'm going to pull off the cam sprockets. Got to figure out what size that is because I really don't remember. And then pull off the timing chain. Forgot to record for a second, but front timing plate's off. I don't know if I already recorded that, but cams are now off also. I just put the caps on so I don't lose them or get them out of order. But I already cracked the first two, and when I say crack, I just mean loosen, not literally cracked them, but loosen the first two head bolts, which is the front one up here and then the back one back here. The front one up here was really tight. This one back here was like not even close to as tight as this front one was. So fingers crossed that the idiots that did the rebuild on this engine just didn't torque it properly, and it is a bad head gasket. All the head bolts are loose. Now there is one little hose. Where is it at? I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera. So the hose is right down there, that little hose clamp, which is in between my intake manifold, way down in there. So I got to get that out, and that is the last thing I have to do before I can pull this head. The head is off. I've been going over it for the past half an hour looking for any cracks. I don't see any cracks anywhere. Don't see any cracks on the block or anything. Been looking at the head gasket, and there is one little spot of question. Where'd it go? Which is here. Let me turn on my light. Which is right here. As you can see, the protective coating peeled back, and there's a hole in it right there, which is really close to the two cylinders that were leaking. So I'm thinking my coolant was coming in through there, seeping through the side and going into my cylinders. So I'm hoping that's the whole problem. Only thing I can do now is throw in a head gasket, cross my fingers, and hope for the best. Put everything back together. Just like I assume, no one stocks the intake manifold gasket or the head gasket. So I got those ordered. They'll be here tomorrow by the time I get off work. Just picked up some carb cleaner from AutoZone. Gonna disinfect everything, clean it up as much as I can, and then seal up the engine for overnight. And then I'm gonna call it a night, go have some fun, relax a little, stop being stressed out about my engine, and I'll probably roll this video into tomorrow's video when I actually put on the head gasket. And just for overnight, I'm going to throw the head back on, throw the valve cover back on, just let it sit like this overnight so no dirt's falling in my engine and all that crap. I don't want it to get dirty in there. The head bolts are going to go in a bag. Cams, I'm going to wrap in saran wrap wherever I put it and keep those safe overnight. Okay, it's now 4 or 5 hours later than when I was recording earlier, and I was sitting in my room watching Adam LZ videos. Shout out to Adam LZ. And they painted the windshield wipers on their 240, and I was thinking, wow, mine really do look ugly, and I don't know why I haven't painted them yet. But since my car's out of commission right now and it's already in the garage, and my hood's already up, and I have paint, it's just the right thing to do. So I'm gonna pull those off real quick, sand them down, send it with a painted coat, or a coat of paint, not a painted coat, and then let that dry overnight, do another coat tomorrow, and by the time my engine's all done, my wipers won't be so ugly. I didn't fully sand the wipers, but they're scuffed up, and all the rough parts are sanded. So now I'm just going to find some spare black paint laying around in my chemical shelf and spray them down. Well, you can't really see it well, but these are just hanging off to the side of my garage drying. And tomorrow I'll throw on another coat of paint and they will look. Pulled my head back off. Wipers are drying again because I put another coat on it. I got the head gasket hanging because I'm going to try out this Permatex copper spray gasket that I've seen everybody using. And they say it works really well. And since I'm kind of just hoping for the best, I might as well just try it out now because if it blows up, I don't really care. Wiper arms are sprayed again, or wiper blades. And it's raining outside. My head gasket now looks like a fresh new 2017 Penny. And I got overspray everywhere, and it smells really bad. And when they say have good ventilation, they really mean it. It smells pretty bad, and overspray got practically everywhere. I haven't really been recording much because trying to stay concentrated and recording is the last thing on my mind, but the head's back on, it's all torqued down. The lower cam chain, the upper sprocket on the lower cam chain is bolted on, torqued down. Everything's torqued down, sequenced, and to torque specs. Now I'm gonna clean up the cams and throw on the cams. And for putting in the cams, I use this Lucas assembly lube, semi-synthetic. I use that on all the cam rollers and the lifters and make sure those are all lubed up because the top end is the last part to get the oil, and I want to make sure that it's nice and lubed up here when I first start it. The cams are all torqued down. About to clean up the timing chain, throw on the upper timing chain, make sure that's all timed, and then take a break for a little while. Come back in a few minutes and finish it all up. Okay, I got extremely distracted, but engine's completely back together practically. Radiator's back in, intake manifold's back on, valve cover's back on, spark plugs are in. All I gotta do is tomorrow is wire harness, exhaust headers, intake, strut bar, and then oil, distributor, get my ignition timing, coolant, and start. Wasn't really planning on doing all this, but got really bored and put everything back besides the distributors and the spark plug wires, and then my throttle cable right here because I'm going to do that when I need to adjust my idle.